Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a Comic Bookies podcast. Here with another YouTube video, another Batcave Minutes, issue number 12.0, I think, with my lovely wife Danielle on the show again. We're going to be doing this every single week. You know, this is episode 7, so technically we only have 2 more weeks after this, and then WandaVision's over. But let's get right into it. WandaVision was kind of I thought an underwhelming episode at first. I'd say like the first. Okay, so first of all, I was told by our co-host Sean and on numerous podcasts that the episodes were now going to be an hour long. And I'm like, yes. Like when we found out that Game of Thrones was like an hour and a half per episode on the final season. But then we get there and it's like, what? 37 minutes? And again, it has the 5-6 minute
however
end credits. It has a scene.
It has an end scene.
But
that's a new.
So first off, I was like, oh, that was kind of, a kick in the balls. But then the first 25 minutes are kind of average. And then spoilers, again, we're going to be putting this episode out this is like Saturday, like the day after it came out. So for those of you watching this episode, it's spoilers. So go ahead, watch WandaVision and come back to this video and comment down below and see if you kind of agree with our, theories or our analysis of the episode. But all I can say is one thing, is Agatha Harkness. Like we've been saying it. The thing is that
we've kind of been saying it, but then we're kind of like,
Yeah.
We've been saying it, but are we going to say it? We've been saying it. Are we going to say it?
I mean, this is the one time where week to week kind of kills it, because every week the fan theories start coming out.
Right. Well, the fan theories have started before the show started.
Let's
just keep that.
Well, because no one had anything better to do. Because it's the first thing from MCU since Far From Home.
In quarantine, we've had nothing to do but Google theories on everything, not just comic book movies.
Exactly. So, but yeah. So this is the downside. I always argue with Mark, like he loves. he loves the week to week as well. I got some coworkers who are like, no, give me the whole season of Stranger Things at once so I can just get it over with. But I like the water cooler talk every Monday. Like what happened on this episode. We're more old school like that. We were used to that. We were used to videotaping shows on the VCR.
Right.
And then going back and watching. We had the friggin' DVR in the 90s. So, but this is where it gets, it's tricky and it gets a little fishy, because once that first episode comes out, what's happening? It could be this, and this. The colorful, the helicopter that ended up being a drone and everything, So some things get ruined, and some things, because some people are so damn smart. They've read the comics, they know the stories, they've seen other pieces of IP, like on other movies and TV shows. It's just crazy. But go ahead, your analysis of the episode.
Well, just to kind of go off of some of the things you said, people are so smart, but I think there's also a lot of people who might be thinking they're not going to just do as the books say, or they're not just going to go, like they're going to switch it up, they're going to change it up, they're going to do something different, they're going to catch your attention. And one point that I want to make is I owe WandaVision an apology, because I really was not feeling it after the first 2 episodes. And we've had some family members, we've had some friends who have literally said, I hate this show. I only watched the first episode. This sucks. And you and I are texting like aggressively, like
through the first 2.5
please
episodes,
give it a chance, please. So my sister was actually the only one besides you that really enjoyed the first 2 episodes, because she got all of the sitcom references. So shout out to Jackie for that. The Dick Van Dykes and all the old shows. So she was like, watching those old shows really paid off for me, because I get those show references that she's doing. But we've had some family, like I said, and friends who are like, this is confusing, this sucks, this is stupid, I don't get it,
this is the first
this
thing
is boring.
In Spider-Man, over a year, screw this.
But
and I was like, please get through the end of episode 3.
I think part of it also,
4, 5, 6, 7 are...
I think also part of it is they might not be as familiar with MCU universe. Like, no offense, I love you more than anything, but like your dad doesn't know the movie plot lines and the depth emotional connection to MCU that we have or that your mom's had. Yeah. So when he was like, the first 2 episodes, you know,
I'm done. I'm out. I was like, no, please watch
trust us.
3.
Yeah, we're like,
4, 5,
we're telling
6.
him like, trust us, please. You have to get through just the first 2 because if you look back at our previous videos, even I was like, I don't know.
I mean, some people like that, they're kind of like they watch the movie and then they kind of leave it there. They take it for what that movie was.
Right.
You know, so,
well, and no offense, but that's kind of how Mark has been in terms of the movies, is he's seen a few. He's not emotionally connected to it the way that you and I have been over the last X amount of years. Yeah. So we have to give them a little bit of, leeway because, and this is kind of going off on a tangent, streaming services in general have not, in my opinion, been as prominent as they've been in the past versus the last year because of coronavirus and because of quarantine. Yeah. You see everyone, what's new show? What show should I watch? What should I do this? I got nothing to do. What should I watch? So that's that. But anyways, back to WandaVision. The episode was not necessarily slow, in my opinion. I think I've just gotten used to the fact that they are a setup show. Yeah. They set you up. They're going to set you up. And whatever they set you up for, it's going to be big. And why I personally feel that WandaVision is absolutely brilliant is because every time the show is over, you and I have to talk about it. Yeah. We have more questions, more theories. Yeah. We're more confused. We're more excited. We're more anxious. We're like, what is going to happen? That is all of the makings for a really good show, in my opinion. The fact that you've left me with, now I'm Googling, because I don't read the books. I watch the movies with you and the shows. I love it. I'm into that. But I don't know the books. So now I'm like, Googling, all of these, super aggressive late night, up at 1 a.m., like, okay, Wanda this, and what does this mean that? But so some theories that I have is, we talked about Agatha Harkness, and is Catherine O'Hara's character, like, how is that going to... Catherine Hahn, I'm sorry. How was that going to... I got Schitt's Creek and WandaVision in one. Yeah. How is that going to evolve? How is she going to come out? And I thought they brought her and introduced her amazingly. That was so badass. I didn't think that... Yeah. Okay. I think that the suns are the flies. Because we've learned, watching WandaVision, you better pay attention to little things like, okay, they zoomed in on a fly twice. Does that mean that those are the boys? Like... And then the book that was like shimmering. Mm-hmm. But I was left with questions.
I was waiting for there to be 2 rabbits and then, or 3 rabbits or something. And then that was she turned them into them. But I saw the one fly and then kind of like not as clear was the second fly.
Correct. On like the pillar thing in the basement.
She did it.
Yes. So that's what I'm saying. So the other question that I had was, okay, Agatha is there. And now she's, shown her true self. How did she get there? Was she in Westview this whole time and she just fell under Wanda's hex? Did she break into the hex? How did Agatha even get to Westview?
There's going to be, I don't know if in Doctor Strange or somewhere.
I'm sure they're gonna get that in there.
Her creeping, she's been in the background for some time maybe, and then once she kind of sees the mental breakdown of Wanda, of how she stole,
like pouncing.
Vision's carcass, and she wanted.
Does she know all that right now?
Yeah, see, I don't.
At episodes, like, what does she know? What doesn't she know? And then my other question about Agatha is not only how she got there, but like, what does Wanda know, and what does Agatha know? Like, Wanda created this universe, right? And there are times in the beginning where Agatha would say things like, "Should we take it from the top?" How was Wanda not puzzled about that? Vision was puzzled. How would Wanda not catch on? Like, wait a minute, how do you know that this isn't...
She was so quick to play it off. She wasn't like, she didn't dive farther like Vision wanted to.
Right.
She's like, oh, no, it's okay. She's fine.
But wouldn't Wanda be like, wait a minute, how... I know. You're under my spell. How do you know that this is not real. Like,
Yeah, because you're right.
everyone is supposed to be.
Agatha Harkness was because she introduced herself.
Correct.
I'm Agatha Harkness, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I'm your friendly neighbor, and, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You did get me, though, because when I thought that Vision did that thing to her head, I was like, no, he did it. He's got her mind.
They had a cool song. It was like, oh, it was Agatha the whole time. Or
Yeah.
It was some tune.
Yeah.
It was like the beginning of a different show.
The
and it was
Office.
her trying to kind of stir in the pot of all these different scenes through the first 7 episodes. It was cool.
Yeah. I didn't understand, and maybe I need to go back and watch, but when they did their little talent show, and she was, like this, what did she do to mess up their talent show? I don't really remember what that was about.
It was when didn't they bring Geraldine from backstage?
Yeah, but
was that Wanda?
a mess up?
Was
that supposed to be a mess up?
Because remember, it was supposed to
Because
be Wanda.
Agatha's supposed to be. Well, no, Agatha was on the table messing with their talent show. That was one of the Agatha things.
I don't know.
And then my only other, several things actually. So Vision, obviously she saved Vision again because he was going to die. So is anyone who leaves the Hex their original self? So if Vision ever leaves, he will die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's dead.
So what about the boys?
They'll go.
What will happen?
Because they don't really exist.
That's, what's going to happen with, because they exist in the comic books, though, don't they?
Yeah, eventually, but it's kind of these 2 boys are a figment of the imagination. Wanda has created them.
But they're real people. Like, real people see them.
But they're only real people in Westview. They never existed outside of Westview. Mm-hmm. So
we'll see.
Yeah.
And then I think that Mephisto is either Agatha's husband, Ralph, because she references him
like Ralph
at
tells
least.
me I should do this. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, she references him every episode. And
Mephisto is
we have to
version
pay
of the devil. He's like
we have to
Satan,
pay attention to those kind of Easter eggs.
You would think that with this show, with all the witches in it, and then Doctor Strange leading into it, you would think that
oh my God, it's going to be so good.
What it is, but you never know.
So good.
But we're forgetting one huge thing. Hello, Geraldine breaking through the 4th wall and all of her different selves being torn apart.
Oh my God!
And her pretty much.
How can you say it was a slow episode?
Well, that's what I mean. At that point, when she's going through the wall and she basically becomes the next Captain Marvel, and she has her little tussle with Wanda, like she. Brings
I think
her up
Wanda too was just like,
yeah.
I can't just expel her.
So Monica Rambeau is officially BA.
Well, and Monica Rambeau and Agatha Harkness are going to have at it.
Oh, dude, it's going to be these last
Monica
2 episodes.
is going to save Wanda, and that's what we were talking about. How we need answers.
We're going to get them.
No, hold on.
We're going to get more questions.
We need answers. But as anyone who's ever seen a show, whether it be a comedy, a thriller, whatever, every season has a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
All of them do. Friends, Seinfeld, Game of Thrones. What is the cliffhanger going to be? Mm-hmm. But I want some questions answered first.
Yeah, because
I need some questions answered before you end the season.
Because as far as my knowledge...
Could you imagine the cliffhanger?
Because as far as my knowledge is concerned, most of these are going to be one-shot seasons. As far as I'm concerned, Loki is the only show that I know that has already been signed on for a season 2. I have heard nothing about Falcon and Winter Soldier, nothing about WandaVision.
But it shouldn't be a one-shot.
We don't know. After episode 9, what if it just goes back to what it was in
well, and then you're right.
Westview is no more. That means Vision's no more, so there's no point for WandaVision.
Well, and if they tie in the movie, they have to wait till the movie comes out, then to carry it. Yeah, I understand. That would suck, but I understand that point.
So episode 7, an amazing episode about the 22 to 25 minute mark and on. Really good. But yeah, so...
I didn't know that Monica Rambeau was the new captain. You had to tell me that.
Weeks and weeks of the Fat Man Beyond podcast with Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin, they mentioned it a few times how, like in the comic book, she ends up being Captain Marvel. So there's like a fan theory of.
Well, now that's how she got to be.
There you go. So
my other theory, and my last theory is, and I just told you it like 2 seconds before we started. I think that Mephisto could possibly be Pietro because of the end scene.
And my theory is that he's being controlled.
By who?
By Agnes. Because remember in that opening scene, Agatha, it was her all along. And he shows up to the door. to greet Wanda as
and
her
she has
brother.
her purple thing.
And there's all this purple behind his back, as if she's doing it.
But how did
she's forcing? She's in his mind now.
But that's not even the real Pietro.
It's a different universe's Pietro.
I mean, it's technically X-Men's because that's the guy who played same character in X-Men too.
Yeah, but it's the same character. It's just different multiverse. Because remember, Fox wasn't
owned by
Disney 2 years ago. So when they were making,
so what happened to him after the Halloween party? He's just been living in her basement after the Halloween party, and Wanda, gave her one of those.
Obviously, he was somewhere because he ends up at the end scene of episode 7.
But he says, "Snoopers gonna snoop."
Yeah. So episode 7, check it out on Disney Plus. Episode 8, we'll be right back here at this same time next week to review episode 8.
Possibly Friday night because it might be that good. 8 and 9.
Yeah. But yeah, not much sports going on. Pitchers and catchers reported for spring training. NBA's been pretty good. The NHL.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, Steph Curry's been on fire lately. He's actually an all-star starter, so it's nice to see local fans here to see him back as an all-star starter where he belongs. The 2 hockey games are this weekend in Tahoe. The outdoors series, actually, the first game is being resumed 15 minutes ago because it had to be postponed and delayed because it was so hot. Sorry, Texas and all these other frigid, cold states right now. It was too hot for the ice. So they had to cover it, and they had to wait until the sun went down, put a fresh sheet of ice on there, and then continue play. So they had to literally restart the Vegas Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche game at midnight Eastern. So, and then of course Boston and Philadelphia is tomorrow. But that's pretty much it of sports. The Daytona 500 was crazy, the crash and everything. So we'll be getting more into that
Or Newman.
in episode 101 next week. But one book to preview or actually review and recommend is Undiscovered Country. This is issue number 12. This is the end of the second arc. And I like what books are doing nowadays, these once-a-month ones, because they tell you at the end. Some don't tell you at the end, but there's a letter from the writer. It's by Charles Soule and Scott Snyder that, oh, hey, guys, we're going to take a break or whatever. We're going to come back in May or whatever. So I think this one it's February right now, obviously, so it's cool that they give some time, kind of like an actual show. But the group, they escape Unity, and they decide to move on? I think they decide to move on. And they're moving on to the next area of the United States, trying to find the cure for this virus. And it was a pretty epic issue. So Undiscovered Country, I can't recommend it enough. It's one of my favorite ones from Image Comics right now. But that's pretty much it. That's all I've got.
Please follow us on Instagram at The Comic Bookies, Twitter and Facebook as well, where we will have up-to-date information regarding sports, comics, or anything related to the podcast. We also will give you more content in terms of when episodes are being released, YouTube videos from Mike, Mark, and Sean. And in all honesty, for myself, my husband Mike, Sean, Marissa, Mark, Patty, all of us here together, everyone in Texas, we are thinking of you. I know you have some friends there. Mm-hmm. It's serious, it's scary, and our thoughts and prayers are with all of you.
Yeah, everything. It's something.
Especially those who have been listening to us. Hopefully those downloads are able to help you get through some nights.
Something so unexpected. We hear freezing temperatures in Tennessee and Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana.
And not just that, no power.
Alabama and all those other states.
No water.
Or us, parts of Arizona, Florida, and then I just heard my buddy's birthday today, Steve. The Carolinas are actually okay right now, but a lot of these states are just getting annihilated by rain, snow, freezing cold.
With no source of power.
Oregon, your mom's in Oregon.
Yeah.
She's getting, just...
She lost power for a while.
Power and everything. So hopefully it gets better soon. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the Batcave Minutes 12.0. Thank you so much for tuning in. So please subscribe to the YouTube page. Go follow us on Twitch. I just changed my personal account to the Comic Bookies. That's where you'll find us on Twitch every week as well. So we'll be going live not only on YouTube but on Twitch next week at around, I want to say 8:30 to 9 o'clock.
As long as the kids go to bed on time.
Yes, exactly. As long as the kids go to bed on time. But for myself, Mike, and Mark and Sean, who will be posting a video right here on YouTube pretty soon. My lovely wife, Danielle, thank you so much for tuning in. And as I always say, enjoy the sports, enjoy the comics, enjoy each other.
Bye.
See you soon.